on my lane, you all on my lane. You ain't overlooked, so get out the way. I gave you the book, I gave you the game. The boy gotta cook, the boy got a flame, Serving in the kitchen like you Nino. Plenty bitchin', whipping different flavors like a bistro. Kick it, dip it, flip it, keep it hunting like a C-note. Switching, keep it pimping every single place that he go. I got it. Lathan got the flame, Lathan got the flame. Boy, you know the name, get up out the way. Lathan got the flame, Lathan got the flame. Stay up out the kitchen if you ain't the one that's whipping, huh? Hey, yo, Lathan, man, cook them boys up something real quick, man.
Hey, what's going on, Bistro family? Welcome back to my channel. Now, today we got the most amazing ultimate seafood mac and cheese. So the first thing I'm gonna do is teach you how to break down lobster tails. I see a lot of people breaking down lobster tails, and I'm gonna show you the restaurant way, or how I learned in a restaurant to break down a lobster tail. So get you some kitchen shears and go ahead and cut down that lobster tail until you get to the tail. All right, you want to stop right there, and then you see those two parts right before the tail. You're going to go ahead and pop that out, and that's going to give you a little indentation so the lobster can actually set up in that space right there. So once you get those two pieces of shell off, so we got the one side off, and then I'm popping the other side off. And like I said, that's right before you get to the tail. So the section of shell before you get to the tail, pop that off. And so now you got like a little indentation. So you're going to turn it over, and you're going to crack the bottom of the shell just so you can kind of make it a little bit pliable. All right. Once you open that tail up, you're going to pull that lobster meat out. And like I said, once you pull it out, it's going to sit directly into that shell part that you popped out right there. And bam, there you have it. And then, so you take the lobster tail and fold it over the top and just make sure it looks pretty. And then take the back of the tail and actually break it in the middle there, kind of like I'm doing right there. Just you'll hear a little crack, and bam, and that keeps the tail frayed out versus being curled up and inside. So that's one way to prep a lobster tail. And if you're gonna grill a lobster tail, this is the best way to do it here, grill. So take a chef's knife, go directly down the middle of the lobster tail, and right there, and you're gonna season both sides and then pop it on the grill that way. And the other one I showed you first, that's the best way I've seen to do a steamed lobster or even a fried lobster. But yeah, I had to show you guys how to break down a lobster because I see a lot of people breaking down lobster, and I was like, hey, let me just show you something that I learned when I was in the restaurant industry on how to break down a lobster, and I feel like it works well. But now that you have them down, that's just that was just a little bit of educational purposes today. But now we're gonna actually take the lobster tails and actually cut them down, because this lobster here is going into our ultimate seafood mac and cheese. So this ultimate seafood mac and cheese is going to be fantastic. You cut the lobster down how you want. I took each tail and I cut it in half, and then I cut them halves in half. So we got a fair amount of lobster here, probably about 10 ounces of lobster. All right, then I got a bag of shrimp, and these are small gulf shrimp. I just thawed them out and pulled the tails off. And so once you get those gulf shrimp down with the lobster, you're going to season it with some Old Bay and Slap Your Mama, or you can season it however you want to season it. You can add some lemon juice or whatever if that floats your boat. But yeah, I'm going in with some Old Bay and some Slap Your Mama. I feel like these are the two seasonings I want to really stand out in my mac and cheese. And also we got some blue crab claw meat that we're going to actually put in here. So we're going to add that in later because that's actually already done. So we're going to just add that in later and just let it get into those juices with the lobster and the shrimp. So get everything mixed up, and then we're going to get some brown butter. Don't burn the butter, just brown it a little bit. And once it becomes brown and you start smelling that nuttiness, go ahead and add your lobster and shrimp into there and sear it on one side. And we're going to cook this probably like 2 minutes. So a really quick cook, because remember, we're going to actually add it into our cheese sauce, and then we're going to actually put it in the oven. So you don't want to cook this all the way through. You just want to think about that, because you don't want rubber bands. You want some good seafood. So once you get everything flipped and everything is opaque, go ahead and then begin to add your crab meat in. Like I said, we're using blue crab fin meat, but if you want to, you can use jumbo lamp crab, but that was a little bit too rich for my blood today. And then I wanted to make a ultimate seafood mac and cheese that was affordable. So yeah, you see me use lump crab meat and fin meat for my crab cakes. That's what you use them type of meat set. But for this mac and cheese, I just wanted to kind of just go a little bit more budget friendly for this. But yeah, get that crab meat mixed in with that lobster and that shrimp, and then go ahead and pull it to the side and let it cool, because you're not going to use that until you make your cheese sauce. All right, for our cheese sauce, we are grating our cheeses down, no potato starch, because we don't want no extra thickeners thickening up our cheese sauce. We want to be able to control our thickness of our cheese sauce. So I got some aged Vermont white cheddar. Then I got some low moisture mozzarella, and then I got some Monterey Jack, and we're just shredding that all down. And this part here is pretty much preference, how much cheese you want to add in there. I can't give you a recipe on that or a ratio. All I can give you is a guideline, and you build from that guideline. But yeah, then we're going to go ahead and make our roux. So I got in a half a stick of butter, and then followed by some flour. We're going to add that in. Make sure you add that in equal parts. So if you got a fourth of a cup of flour, do a fourth of a cup of butter, vice versa. Just make sure your roux is equal parts. Once you get that roux down, we're going to make a blonde roux. So you don't want this roux to get dark. You want it to be a blonde roux because we're making a white cheese sauce. I don't want my mac and cheese to be yellow. So I'm making my mac and cheese with white cheeses, and I'm making a blonde roux. But yeah, once you get that roux smelling good and nutty, and that flour taste cooked out, go ahead and add your 2 cups of milk in there. And once you get the 2 cups of milk in there, add 2 cups of heavy cream. But you're going to add that heavy cream once that milk mixture begin to activate in that roux and begin to thicken. Once it begin to thicken, you're going to go ahead and add your heavy cream to it. And that's what's going to kind of thin it out a little bit. And if you feel like this ratio is too thick, you can always add more cream to it. Or if you feel like it's too thin, you can add a little bit more roux. But I didn't want mine to be extra thick. I kind of wanted mine to kind of be on the looser side, because once we bake it off, and then you think about later reheating, if it's really thick, you're going to always have a dry product at the end. So I always make mine a little bit looser. All right, with our bechamel or our marinade sauce, we're going to go ahead and add in some Old Bay and some Slap Your Mama again. We want those same seasonings that we seasoned the shrimp and lobster with to cross over into this cheese sauce. And once you get that mixed in, you're going to go ahead and kill the heat and let the residual heat melt the cheese. You don't want to melt the cheese while your heat is still on high, because you'll run into a problem where your cheese sauce might break. So make sure once you get your sauce where it needs to be, seasoned well, go ahead and kill that heat and then begin to add your cheese. All right, then we're going in with some Parmesan cheese, and then followed by our Monterey Jack, our mozzarella, and then our aged Vermont cheddar, white cheddar. And we're going to melt that in our sauce. So go ahead and add that in, and all that is residual heat right there, because my heat has actually killed this off. So everything now is just residual heat that's melting this cheese sauce. Well, that's melting the cheese and the cheese sauce. So we are going to season this cheese sauce. We're going to do some complete seasoning, and that's low sodium, because we already got good salty notes from the Slap Your Mama as well as the Old Bay. So we're just adding in some total seasoning just to get some extra flavor notes to join in with that Old Bay and that Slap Your Mama. We just wanted a little bit more elevation there. Always taste your cheese sauce or your sauce as you go. Make sure you don't need to adjust it. And I realized when I tasted, like, man, it's missing something, and that something was some black pepper. So go ahead and crack you some freshly cracked black pepper in there. I did probably like 12 to 15 cranks on this, but if you like pepper, go a little bit more. If you like less, go a little bit less. But I feel like you can't go wrong with freshly cracked black pepper. It just sets the tone and makes everything extra good. All right, once you get that all mixed in, we're going to go ahead and we're going to begin to add our seafood to this mixture. And the juices and all that accumulated in the bottom of the seafood, add that in there as well. And what that's going to do is flavor the sauce, as well as kind of thin it out a little bit if it begins to get thick on you. So, and that's just flavor. It's just flavor. So get that all mixed in. And then once you get that mixed in, we're going to go ahead and set that aside. Make sure you taste it and make sure it's tasting where you want it to be at. If you want to, you can add a little bit of spice to it. I think I am going to add a little bit of hot sauce to it because I just need a little bit of that extra flavor. Like I said, we're adding a total seasoning. So with the total seasoning followed by some hot sauce, I think we're good to go. And you can add your favorite hot sauce of choice. I'm adding in a little bit of Louisiana because why not? All right, so get that all mixed in, and this cheese sauce or this mac and cheese sauce is perfect. So we're going to set that aside and begin to cook our cavatappi pasta. And you can use any pasta you want. If I wasn't using cavatappi, I honestly would use a regular elbow because I feel like those the two pastas that go with seafood mac and cheese. But that's just me. I could be biased. But if your box say cook the pasta to al dente and it says al dente is 5 to 6 minutes, go ahead and cook it 4 to 5 minutes. You always want to cook it a little bit under because remember, we are going to bake this in the oven, and it's nothing more worse than overcooked pasta. So once you get that ready, go ahead and drain it. And then once we drain it, we're going to go over with our cheese sauce and our seafood and get that mixed in. And while that's mixing it in, while we're mixing this in, we're going to add a little bit of our cheese mixture in there as well, just to get some more of those cheese notes in here. I did go in with some Parmesan as well. So went in with the Parmesan and the cheese blend and mixed that in until it was well incorporated. And then we got us a baking dish. You can use whatever baking dish you want. I'm using the Pioneer Woman baking set because I love that baking set. It's pretty cool. And I'm using the Pioneer Woman pan as well. So go ahead and get that baking set down. And I sprayed it with some nonstick, or you could roll it with some butter. It's pretty much up to you. But once you get that ready, go on with the first layer of mac and cheese. We're going to go at the bottom of this pan here, and then we're going to top that with some cheese because we want to layer this thing. We want this thing to be layered beautifully. So go on with the mac and cheese, then a layer of cheese, followed by another layer of mac and cheese, and then we're going to finish with a big layer of cheese at the top. And we're going to cook this off until it's golden brown in the 300. No, we cooked it in a 400 degree oven for about anywhere from 12 to 15 minutes. Your oven pretty much dictates. You look in there and see how dark you want it. I like mine's pretty golden and delicious. Also, we went on with some smoked paprika just to give us some smoky notes, as well as some color on this for you know, because it's all white. So we had to add some kind of color nod to it. So I went on with some smoked paprika just to give us that smokiness and that color. But make sure you top this whole thing completely off. Like I said, this is our blend here: the Monterey Jack, the aged sharp cheddar, and the mozzarella. So, but you can use any blend you want. If you want to add provolone, go ahead and add that. Or if you want to add yellow cheeses as well, you can add that as well. But I wanted my seafood mac and cheese to be white. But yeah, you see me adding on the smoked paprika. And once we get all the smoked paprika on there, we're going to pop this into a 400 degree oven, like I said, for 12 to 15 minutes. But you always want to check and make sure that's the color you're going for. So we're popping it into the oven, and bam, there you have it, man. The most amazing ultimate seafood mac and cheese. Look how bubbly this thing is. It's so good and so delicious. I'm telling you. If you wanted to take it up another notch, you could actually use some jumbo lump meat. But like I said, I'm not. And this was perfect the way it was. Very tasty. Every note was hit. The seafood was amazing. If you want to add some scallops, you can add some scallops. Pretty much up to you. But yeah, man, this thing was awesome. Only thing I felt like I would have did was get me a lemon and just add a big squeeze of lemon on at the end. I know that sounds weird, but I feel like it would have actually complemented that seafood very well. And then we finishing it with some parsley, letting it rain. But yeah, man, there you have it, the ultimate seafood mac and cheese from the Bistro. Like, comment, share, subscribe, man. Thank you guys for always tuning into my videos. The channel is growing. I really appreciate you guys, man. You guys been with me on this journey for almost 3 years now, so thank you guys. If you want videos, put it down in the comment section. If you like this video, hit it with a thumbs up. Like I said, hit that subscribe button. And yeah, man, check out that. Oh my goodness, ultimate seafood mac and cheese from the Bistro. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. I'm out.